One of the main unmet needs in the management and the follow-up of Parkinson's patients has to do with the understanding of how the patients are doing at home. Because this disease is followed after the symptoms, and you need to know what the symptoms look like in the day-to-day setting of the patient. PDMonitor sheds light on the daily living, sheds light on the symptomatology at home. On top of that, it helps the patient interact with the physician, give feedback about the timing and type of medication, the timing and type of nutrition, and also the non-motor symptoms. So overall, PDMonitor helps liaise better the patient with the treating physician and the caregiver at home in order to support a possible paradigm shift in the course of the management of the disease.
Parkinson is now considered the fastest growing neurodegenerative condition in the world. The numbers of Parkinson's worldwide are estimated to double by years 2030 to 2040. This would pose an enormous societal cost pressure on patients and carers and healthcare systems around the world, because people with Parkinson's live almost a normal lifespan. Once you're diagnosed, you will live with the condition. Many people with Parkinson's are diagnosed in a very active phase of their life, in their 40s and their 50s. They're still working. Carers often have to give up their work to care for people with Parkinson's. And the other problem is there is inevitable progression of Parkinson because there's age-related dopamine loss that we see. So it is a growing problem. We need to have better technology and better assessment to improve our care. And the area where the care needs to be improved the most is the chronic care at home and in the communities. And any artificial intelligence-enabled device that allows us to do this in an easy, user-friendly manner is what we need. There is the visible part of Parkinson, which is often the tremor or the stiffness, but also the invisible part, what I call the hidden face of Parkinson, which includes many non-motor problems such as pains, such as depression, anxiety, social immobility, isolation, but also balance issues. So to monitor all these problems within the context of a short clinic that we can offer either in the NHS or in the private sector is often not possible. So we often rely on people's own recollection of events in the clinic and or diaries which can be inaccurate, can be retrospectively completed. And the advent of artificial intelligence-based technologies to monitor patients better, particularly at home, is therefore a crucial unmet need which is now gradually being bridged. The need for this really was highlighted during the COVID pandemic, when the home care and home assessment became of great importance, and subsequently it has now been underpinned by NHS initiatives. For instance, the so-called virtual wards is based on the whole premise that we should be able to monitor people whose condition changes from time to time at home, and really management of that gives somebody a real hold on their clinical improvement and their quality of life. And the PDMonitor provides us with that. I think Parkinson is a condition that can change from hour to hour. And this is very important for clinicians, healthcare professionals who are looking after people with Parkinson to recognize. Otherwise, you might end up managing the people in an inappropriate manner. I'm not saying that virtual technology will replace face-to-face examination. However, face-to-face examination or clinic consultations are fraught with problems which, again, several of my colleagues from Netherlands and the US have called the white coat effect. In other words, patients might either put on their best behavior when they're in clinic, they might be excessively stressed, so suddenly a tremor might break through, and you might be tempted to treat those symptoms which you see. However, when the patient leaves the clinic, when they go back to their car park or when they drive home, the situation is completely different, or often very different, but you're not seeing that. What you're then relying on often is what the carer or the patient's telling you, which can be very inaccurate because we know that recall in Parkinson's can be affected. So this device therefore gives us this granular insight into what's going on at home, which is really, after all, what matters, and allows us treatment strategies which can then influence this treatment or management of people with Parkinson's at home.